Hi, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed English. Do you know the difference between different kinds of register in English? These are different registers. There are basically two kinds of register in English, and we see it most in writing. The first is informal, obviously. When you're chatting, you're talking to friends, you send a quick email, that's informal. But if you write to your boss, you write to your college principal, that will be formal writing. But what's the difference? Let's take a look. Here is a nice example of informal writing. You can tell it's informal because the paper's green and there are hearts and other things all over the place. It's really informal. After I bought a new computer, I found it really easy to get more work done. That's informal, isn't it? I, sounds really casual, really normal. Okay, here is the same thing in formal English. Can you see the difference? That's right, the paper is a different colour. No, I'm joking, that's not the big difference. Let's have a look. So it says, following the purchase of a new computer, my productivity saw a dramatic increase. So, formal, informal. But how can we tell? Well, let's have a look at some different aspects of each one. First, let's take another look at the informal writing. We're going to count the nouns. So we've got I, that's a noun. Computer, that's a noun. I found it, so those two are both nouns. And we've got some adjectives and adverbs and a verb there. Work, so there we are. So how many nouns have we got? We've got nouns, 5. We've got 5 nouns. Now we count the verbs. Bought, found, and get more work done. So, well, we'll count that as a noun phrase, shall we? So we've got bought, found, and a noun phrase here. So we've got 3 verb structures. So verbs, 3. So if we make that a ratio of nouns to verbs, the noun to verb ratio is 5 to 3, which is about 2 to 1. So we've got that just here. Okay, so now let's compare that with the formal writing. We're going to count the nouns, we're going to count the verbs again. So, how do we go on the nouns? Let's see. So we've got the purchase, that's 1, of a new computer, so that's 2. My productivity is 3, saw a dramatic increase, so that's 4. So, nouns, 4. And I'll have a look, how many verbs have we got? Well, there's only 1, it's here, saw. So verbs, 1. So now our noun to verb ratio is very easy to calculate. And we have 4 nouns for every verb. And that's really it. The biggest difference between registers in English, especially in writing, is what we call the noun density. It's the number of nouns weighed against the number of verbs in a particular space. So here, the noun density is quite low. We have got more nouns than in the formal version, but compared to the number of verbs, it's quite a low figure. It's about 2 to 1. And that kind of makes sense when you think about it. Like the simplest kind of informal sentence would be, I like pizza. I and pizza are both nouns, like is the verb, so it's a 2 to 1 ratio. Here, in the same content, let's say, the same message, we've got a much higher ratio of nouns against verbs, so that noun density is much higher. So what does all of this mean if you're doing, for example, a Cambridge exam? Well, if you're writing a formal piece, like a report, proposal, or formal letter, you need to raise your noun density. Start replacing verb structures with different nouns. Start using the magic formula of X of Y, the purchase of a new computer, X of Y. And by doing this, by using the purchase of, we don't need I bought. So we can replace one verb straight away. And instead of I found it really easy to get more work done, we took this get more work and we saw it become my productivity. So my productivity saw a dramatic increase. So all the communication is still there. We still have the same message, but now we're doing it in the formal register, and that means more nouns. There you go. Nice, simple, easy. All you've got to do is do it in the exam. Good luck.